The waiter's fake smile couldn't mask his judgment as he watched my wife Marina check her phone for the 10th time in 5 minutes. Here I was, Eli Thompson, 43 years old, sitting across from the woman I'd loved for 18 years, and she couldn't even pretend to give a damn about our anniversary dinner. "The lobster's getting cold," I said, cutting into my steak with deliberate precision. The knife scraped against the plate, a sound that used to make Marina wince. Now she didn't even look up. "Hmm?" She finally glanced at me, her green eyes distant. Those same eyes that used to light up when I walked into a room now looked at me like I was a stranger who'd overstayed his welcome. The restaurant buzzed around us, couples laughing, families celebrating, normal people living normal lives. Meanwhile, I sat in this overpriced tomb, watching my marriage decompose in real time. "I said your lobster's getting cold." I gestured toward her untouched plate. $58 for decoration seems a bit steep, even for you. Marina's jaw tightened. "I'm not that hungry." "Right. Too busy texting to eat." I leaned back in my chair, studying her. The woman across from me bore little resemblance to the Marina I'd married. Gone was the girl who used to steal fries from my plate and laugh at my terrible jokes. In her place sat this polished stranger in a designer dress I couldn't afford, fingers dancing across her phone screen like she was conducting a symphony of secrets. Her phone buzzed again. This time, she actually smiled. That smile hit me like a punch to the gut. When was the last time I'd made her smile like that? When was the last time she'd looked at me with anything other than barely concealed irritation? "Marina." My voice came out sharper than I intended. "It's our anniversary. Could you maybe put the phone down for 5 minutes?" She sighed, the kind of dramatic exhale she'd perfected over the past year. "Eli, I'm dealing with work stuff. The Henderson project is falling apart, and it's 8:30 on a Saturday night. Success doesn't keep business hours." She finally set the phone down, but her fingers drummed against the table like she was already planning her next text. "You wouldn't understand." There it was, the casual dismissal that had become her favorite weapon. "You wouldn't understand, Eli. You're just a contractor, Eli. You work with your hands, Eli." As if the fact that I built things instead of designing them somehow made me intellectually inferior. I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out a small wrapped box. Marina's eyes flicked to it, then away, like the sight of it physically pained her. "I made this for you," I said, sliding the box across the table. She stared at it like it might explode. "Eli, we agreed no gifts this year." "You agreed." I nodded and did what I wanted anyway. I watched her face as she reluctantly picked up the box. "Open it." With the enthusiasm of someone defusing a bomb, Marina unwrapped the gift. Inside was a wooden pendant I'd carved from a piece of cherry wood, our initials intertwined with a small heart, suspended on a delicate gold chain I'd saved 3 months to afford. She held it up to the light, and for just a moment I saw a flicker of the old Marina, the one who used to treasure my handmade gifts more than anything money could buy. Then her phone buzzed again, and the moment shattered. "It's beautiful, Eli." "Thank you." The words came out flat, rehearsed. She set the pendant back in the box like she was filing it away with all the other inconvenient reminders of our life together. "You're not going to wear it?" "Of course I will. Just not tonight. It doesn't really go with this dress." I looked at her dress, a sleek black number that probably cost more than I made in a week. Everything about her had become expensive, polished, untouchable. Even her hair, once wild and free, was now tamed into some architectural marvel that probably required an engineering degree to achieve. Right. Wouldn't want to clash with your image. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Forget it. I took a long drink of wine, letting the alcohol burn away the words I really wanted to say. Like how she'd become a stranger. Like how our house felt more like a museum than a home. Like how our daughter Jess looked at me with the same dismissive contempt she'd learned from her mother. Marina's phone lit up again. This time, instead of checking it, she grabbed it and stood up abruptly. "I need to take this call." "Marina, it's important, Eli. I'll be right back." She walked toward the restaurant's entrance, phone pressed to her ear. Through the window, I could see her pacing back and forth, animated in a way she never was with me anymore. Her free hand gestured wildly as she talked, and that smile, that genuine, radiant smile, spread across her face again. I sat alone at our anniversary table, surrounded by the debris of our failed evening. The other diners had started to notice. I could feel their pity like a physical weight, pressing down on my shoulders. Poor guy, their glances said. His wife can't even pretend to tolerate him for one night. 10 minutes passed. Then 15. The waiter approached hesitantly. Is everything all right, sir? Can I get you anything else? Just the check, I said, not taking my eyes off Marina through the window. She was still talking, still smiling, still living her best life, while I sat here like a discarded piece of furniture. The waiter brought the bill. $143 for a meal she didn't eat and a conversation we didn't have. I left 2 20s on the table and walked outside. Marina was leaning against a lamppost, phone still glued to her ear. When she saw me approaching, she quickly wrapped up her call. Sorry about that. Work emergency. Right. Work. I studied her face in the yellow streetlight. There was something different about her expression. Guilty, but also defiant, like a teenager who'd been caught sneaking out but wasn't sorry about it. Must have been some emergency. You look energized. It was good news, actually. The Henderson project might be salvageable after all. The lie came so easily, so smoothly, that I almost admired her technique. Almost. That's great, Marina. Really great. I started walking toward our car. Should we head home? Unless you have more work calls to make. She fell into step beside me, her heels clicking against the sidewalk. Eli, I know tonight didn't go the way we planned. What exactly did we plan, Marina? Because from where I'm sitting, this went exactly the way you wanted. You got a free dinner and an excuse to text your way through another evening with your husband. That's not fair. I stopped walking and turned to face her. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I've been trying to save this marriage for 2 years while you've been checking out, piece by piece. Tonight was supposed to be about us, about remembering why we fell in love in the first place. Instead, I got to watch you light up for everyone except me. Marina's face hardened. I'm not going to apologize for having a career, Eli. I'm not going to apologize for being successful. I never asked you to apologize for success. I asked you to show up for your own marriage. I am here. No, you're not. Your body's here, but the rest of you checked out a long time ago. When was the last time we had a real conversation? When was the last time you asked about my day, my work, my feelings? When was the last time you looked at me like I mattered? She opened her mouth to respond, then closed it. We both knew the answer. We reached the car in silence. I unlocked the doors and we got in, the weight of 18 years pressing down between us. As I started the engine, Marina's phone buzzed again. This time, she didn't even hesitate. She picked it up immediately, and I saw her face transform. The cold, distant mask she wore around me melted away, replaced by something warm and alive and devastating. Hey, she said softly into the phone, her voice carrying a tenderness I hadn't heard in years. I know. I can't wait either. The words hit me like ice water. I can't wait either. Not, I can't wait to get home. Not, I can't wait to fix things with my husband. Something else entirely. Someone else entirely. Marina glanced at me, realized I was listening, and quickly turned toward the passenger window. I have to go. I'll call you later. She hung up and stared out at the passing streetlights. I drove in silence, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles went white. The pieces were falling into place now. The late nights at the office, the mysterious phone calls, the way she flinched when I touched her. Who was that? I asked, though I already knew I wouldn't get a straight answer. A client. A client who can't wait for something? Marina's reflection in the window looked trapped. It's complicated, Eli. I'm sure it is. We pulled into our driveway, and I sat in the car for a moment, staring at our house. It was a good house. Solid, well-built, full of memories. I had renovated most of it myself over the years, turning it into something Marina could be proud of. Now, it felt like a mausoleum, preserving the remains of a life we used to share. Eli, Marina said as I turned off the engine, we need to talk. Now you want to talk? After ignoring me all evening? This isn't easy for me either. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Right, this must be really hard on you. We walked to the front door, and I could hear music coming from Jess's room upstairs. At least our daughter was home, though these days that was no guarantee she'd acknowledge my existence. At 18, she'd perfected her mother's art of making me feel invisible. Marina headed straight for the kitchen, pouring herself a glass of wine from a bottle I didn't recognize. Everything in our house had become foreign to me. Expensive wines I didn't buy, designer furniture I didn't choose, a life I didn't recognize. Eli, sit down, please. I remained standing, crossing my arms. I'm fine right here. She took a long drink of wine, gathering her courage. I've been thinking about us, about our marriage, about what we want from life. And I think we've grown apart. We want different things now. We're different people than we were 18 years ago. The words hung in the air between us like smoke. I'd been expecting this conversation for months, but hearing it out loud still felt like a physical blow. Different how? Marina set down her wine glass and looked at me directly for the first time all evening. I want more, Eli. I want excitement, passion, adventure. I want to feel alive again. And you can't feel alive with me? When was the last time we laughed together? When was the last time we stayed up all night talking? When was the last time you made me feel like the most important person in your world? The questions stung because they were fair. We had grown apart. We had stopped trying. But I'd been willing to work on it, to fight for what we'd built together. Marina, apparently, had found an easier solution. So what are you saying, Marina? You want a divorce? She flinched at the word. I'm saying maybe we should consider a separation, some time apart to figure out what we really want. What you really want, you mean? This isn't just about me, Eli. You can't tell me you're happy. You can't tell me this is the life you dreamed of. She was right, and that made it worse. I wasn't happy. I hadn't been happy in a long time. But I'd been willing to fight for our happiness, to work towards something better. Marina had apparently been shopping for a replacement. Who is he? I asked quietly. Marina's face went pale. What? The client who can't wait to see you, the one who makes you smile like that. Who is he? For a moment, she looked like she might deny it. Then something shifted in her expression. Defiance, replacing guilt. His name is Travis. Travis Mitchell. The name hit me like a sledgehammer. Travis Mitchell. I knew that name. Real estate agent, local golden boy, the kind of guy who wore $1,000 suits and drove a Tesla, the kind of guy Marina had always deserved, according to her mother. How long? Eli, how long, Marina? She looked down at her hands. 6 months. 6 months. Half a year of lies. Half a year of pretending. Half a year of me trying to save a marriage that was already over. I thought about all the times I'd blamed myself. All the nights I'd lain awake wondering what I'd done wrong. All the ways I'd tried to be better, more interesting, more worthy of her love. Jesus Christ, Marina. I didn't plan for this to happen. It just did. Right, you just accidentally fell into bed with Travis Mitchell. It's not like that. Then what is it like? Help me understand how my wife of 18 years accidentally starts screwing another man. Marina's eyes flashed with anger. Don't you dare judge me, Eli. You have no idea what it's like being married to someone who's given up on life. Someone who comes home covered in sawdust and spends his evenings watching TV in his underwear. Someone who thinks a homemade necklace is an appropriate anniversary gift. The words were designed to wound, and they found their target. Every insecurity I'd ever had about not being good enough for her, not being successful enough, not being sophisticated enough, she'd just weaponized them all. I see. So this is my fault. That's not what I said. It's exactly what you said. I'm boring. I'm unsuccessful. I'm beneath you. So naturally, you had to find someone better. Travis understands my ambitions. He supports my career. He makes me feel like I can conquer the world. And I hold you back. Marina's silence was answer enough. I stood there in our kitchen, surrounded by the life we'd built together, and felt something fundamental shift inside me. The man who'd spent 2 years trying to win back his wife's love was dying, and something colder, more calculating, was taking his place. So what happens now? I asked. I think I should stay at Nina's for a few days. Give us both some space to think. Nina. Marina's best friend and my least favorite person on earth. The woman who'd spent years telling Marina she could do better, that she was wasting her potential on a simple contractor. Of course, Nina would be involved in this. And Travis? Does he factor into this thinking process? Marina's jaw tightened. I need to explore what I'm feeling, Eli. I need to know if what Travis and I have is real. Right. You need to explore. While I sit here and wait to see if my wife decides she wants to stay married. It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple, Marina. You're choosing him over me, over our family, over 18 years of marriage. Just have the guts to say it. She looked at me then with something that might have been pity. I'm sorry, Eli. I really am. But I can't keep pretending to be happy in a life that feels like it's suffocating me. Then don't. The words came out calm, controlled, which seemed to surprise her. She'd been expecting me to fight, to beg, to make a scene. Instead, I walked to the kitchen drawer and pulled out a business card. David Chen, best divorce attorney in the state. I set the card on the counter between us. I had him on speed dial 6 months ago when I first suspected you were cheating. Funny how things work out. Marina stared at the card like it was a snake. Eli, I don't want this to get ugly. Too late for that, don't you think? She picked up the card, studying it. We can be civilized about this, for Jess's sake. Absolutely, civilized. I smiled, and something in my expression made her take a step backward. Just one question, Marina. When you were exploring your feelings with Travis, did you ever think about what it would cost you? What do you mean? I mean, everything has a price. Every choice has consequences. You've made your choice. Now we get to see what it costs. Marina's phone buzzed again. Without thinking, she reached for it, then caught herself. But it was too late. The gesture said everything. Even now, in the middle of destroying our marriage, Travis was more important than finishing this conversation with me. Go ahead, I said. Answer it. Don't keep your future waiting. She hesitated, then picked up the phone. Hey, no, it's fine. I told him. A pause. I know. I'll be there soon. She hung up and looked at me with something that might have been regret. Eli, just go, Marina. Go to your new life. Leave me to clean up the wreckage of the old one. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door, then stopped. For what it's worth, I did love you once. Once, I repeated. How romantic. After she left, I sat alone in our kitchen, surrounded by the silence of my shattered life. Upstairs, Jess's music had stopped, which meant she'd probably heard everything. Another conversation I wasn't looking forward to. I pulled out my phone and scrolled to a contact I hadn't called in months. Sam Rodriguez, my old friend from the boxing gym. Sam owned a bar downtown and had connections throughout the city. More importantly, Sam understood that some situations required a more creative approach than lawyers and divorce papers. The phone rang twice before he picked up. Eli? Christ, what time is it? Time for that favor you owe me, Sam. What kind of favor? I looked around the kitchen one more time, at the expensive appliances Marina had insisted on, the designer fixtures, the wine glasses that cost more than most people's dinner. All of it bought with money I'd earned, in service of a life that had never really included me. The kind that requires your special talents. And Sam, tomorrow's delivery is going to be quite the shock. A moment I've been planning for ages. Eli, what the hell are you talking about? I smiled in the darkness, feeling something cold and purposeful settle in my chest. Revenge, my friend. Beautiful, devastating revenge. The next morning, I woke up alone in our king-sized bed, staring at the ceiling Marina had insisted we paint dove gray because white was too pedestrian. Everything in our house bore her fingerprints. The throw, pillows that cost more than my work boots, the abstract art that looked like expensive vomit, the coffee table books nobody ever read. I'd built this house with my own hands, but it had never really been mine. Downstairs, Jess sat at the kitchen counter, scrolling through her phone while eating cereal. At 18, she was a perfect blend of Marina's beauty and my stubborn streak, though lately she seemed determined to inherit only her mother's disdain for me. Morning, kiddo. She didn't look up. Dad. Sleep okay? Fine. I poured coffee and sat across from her, studying her face. She had Marina's green eyes and sharp cheekbones, but right now her expression was pure teenage contempt. Want to talk about last night? Finally, she looked up. What's to talk about? Mom finally got tired of pretending to be happy with you. The words stung, but I kept my voice level. Is that how you see it? Dad, come on. You guys haven't been happy in years. At least Mom had the guts to do something about it. By cheating on me? Jess shrugged. Maybe if you'd paid more attention to her, she wouldn't have had to look elsewhere. There it was. Marina's poison. Delivered through our daughter's mouth. How long had they been having these conversations? How long had I been the villain in my own family story? So this is my fault? I'm just saying, Travis actually listens to her. He supports her dreams. He doesn't just grunt and watch TV all night. Travis. She was on a first-name basis with my wife's lover. The betrayal cut deeper than I'd expected. How long have you known about Travis? Jess had the grace to look uncomfortable. A few months. And you didn't think to mention it to me? It wasn't my place. But it was your place to help your mother sneak around behind my back. I didn't help her do anything. I just didn't rat her out. I stared at my daughter. This person I'd raised, loved, sacrificed for, and saw a stranger. When had she stopped being my little girl and become Marina's co-conspirator? Right. Family loyalty. Dad, don't make this harder than it has to be. Mom's happy now. Isn't that what matters? What about my happiness, Jess? Does that matter at all? She looked at me with something dangerously close to pity. Dad, when was the last time you were actually happy? And I mean really happy, not just going through the motions. The question hit harder than I wanted to admit. When was the last time I'd felt genuinely happy? When was the last time I looked forward to coming home, to spending time with my family, to building something meaningful? That's not the point. It's exactly the point. You've been sleepwalking through life for years. Mom just woke up first. My phone buzzed with a text from Sam. Package delivered. You sure about this? I looked at the message, then at my daughter, then at the kitchen where my marriage had died the night before. Was I sure? Hell yes, I was sure. I need to run some errands, I said, standing up. Will you be here when I get back? Probably not. I'm staying at Mom's friend Nina's place for a few days. Of course she was. Nina's house, the headquarters of the anti-Eli coalition. Right. Well, have fun, Dad. Jess's voice softened slightly. I don't hate you. I just think maybe this is for the best, for everyone. I looked at my daughter one more time, memorizing her face. After today, everything would be different. Maybe you're right, kiddo. Maybe this is exactly what everyone deserves. I drove to the gym, needing to hit something before I started making phone calls. Sam's boxing club was in the basement of an old factory building, the kind of place that smelled like sweat and honest work. It was my sanctuary, the one place in town where I was still respected. Sam was waiting for me, holding a manila envelope. Jesus, Eli, you look like hell. Feel worse. Please tell me you got everything. Sam handed me the envelope. Financial records, phone logs, even some photos my guy took outside the Marriott last Tuesday. Your wife's got expensive taste in hotels. I opened the envelope and spread the contents across a bench. Photos of Marina and Travis entering and leaving the hotel. Credit card receipts showing she'd been paying for their little rendezvous. Phone records documenting hundreds of calls and texts between them. This is good work, Sam. Really good. What are you planning to do with it? I gathered the papers and photos, feeling that cold purpose settle in my chest again. I'm going to remind my wife that actions have consequences. Eli, maybe you should think about this. Revenge has a way of what? Making things worse? Sam, my wife has been screwing another man for 6 months. My daughter thinks I'm a pathetic loser who deserves to be cheated on. My marriage is over, my family is gone, and half the town probably knows about it by now. Exactly how much worse can things get? Sam studied my face, and I could see him recognizing something new there. You're not the same guy who walked in here yesterday. No, I'm not. That guy spent 2 years trying to save a marriage that was already dead. That guy believed in playing fair, being the bigger man, taking the high road. That guy was an idiot. And who are you now? I smiled, and Sam actually took a step backward. I'm the guy who's going to teach this town that there's a price for humiliating Eli Thompson. I left the gym and drove to Marina's office, a sleek glass building downtown that housed her interior design firm. I'd helped her move in 3 years ago, back when I still believed we were building something together. The receptionist, a young woman named Claire, who'd always been friendly to me, looked uncomfortable when I walked in. "Hi, Mr. Thompson. I'm sorry, but Marina isn't in today." "I know. I'm not here to see her. I'm here to see Richard." Richard Hoffman was Marina's boss, a pretentious ass who'd never liked me but tolerated my presence at company events. Today, he was going to be very interested in what I had to say. "Is he available?" Claire hesitated. "I'll check." 5 minutes later, I was sitting in Richard's office, surrounded by awards and expensive furniture. Richard himself was a thin man, with silver hair and the kind of condescending smile that made me want to punch something. "Eli, what a surprise. I heard about you and Marina. I'm sorry." "Are you? That's interesting." Richard's smile faltered. "I beg your pardon?" I opened the manila envelope and spread several photos across his desk. "These were taken last Tuesday at the Marriott. That's your employee, Marina Thompson, entering a hotel room with Travis Mitchell, the same Travis Mitchell who's been trying to buy the Henderson property that Marina's been designing." Richard's face went pale as he studied the photos. "I don't understand what you're implying." "I'm not implying anything, Richard. I'm stating facts. Marina has been sleeping with Travis Mitchell for 6 months. Travis Mitchell has been steering real estate deals to your firm. Marina has been using her position here to benefit her lover's business interests. That's called a conflict of interest, and it's the kind of thing that could destroy a company's reputation. You can't prove any connection between their personal relationship and business dealings." I pulled out another set of documents. "Actually, I can. Phone records showing Marina giving Travis inside information about competing bids. Email records showing her adjusting designs to favor his properties. Financial records showing unusual bonuses and commissions that coincidentally align with Travis's biggest deals." Richard stared at the evidence, his corporate mind already calculating the potential damage. "What do you want, Eli?" "I want justice. I want consequences. I want my cheating wife to understand that her actions don't exist in a vacuum. If this information becomes public, Marina's career is over, your firm's reputation is destroyed, and Travis loses his real estate license." "Yes, I'm aware of the stakes." Richard leaned back in his chair, studying me with new respect. "You're not the same man who used to stand quietly in the corner at our Christmas parties." "No, I'm not. That man believed in loyalty, trust, and playing by the rules. That man was a fool. What's stopping you from releasing this information right now?" I gathered the documents and photos, returning them to the envelope. "Nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, I think I'll start with the local newspaper. They love a good scandal." "Eli, wait. Let's discuss this rationally. What would it take for you to reconsider?" I stood up, straightening my jacket. "Nothing you can offer, Richard. Marina made her choice. Now she gets to live with the consequences." I walked out of his office, leaving Richard staring at his desk in horror. By tomorrow, Marina would be unemployed, and everyone would know why. My next stop was Travis's office. Mitchell Real Estate occupied a prime corner location downtown, all glass and steel and aggressive masculinity. Travis had built his reputation on being the golden boy of local real estate, handsome, successful, trustworthy. Today, I was going to introduce him to a different version of himself. The secretary, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes, smiled when I walked in. "Good afternoon. Do you have an appointment with Mr. Mitchell?" "No, but I think he'll want to see me." "Tell him Eli Thompson is here to discuss Marina." Her smile wavered slightly. Clearly, she knew about the affair. In a town this size, everyone knew everything. Travis appeared in his office doorway a moment later, and I got my first good look at my replacement. He was younger than me, probably 32 or 33, with the kind of polished good looks that came from expensive grooming and a lifetime of privilege. He wore a suit that cost more than I made in a month, and his smile was as fake as his tan. "Eli, what a surprise. Come in, come in." I followed him into his office, noting the awards on the walls, the photos of him with local politicians, the general aura of success and respectability. It was all about to come crashing down. "Drink? I've got some excellent scotch." "I'm fine, thanks." Travis sat behind his desk, trying to project confidence, but I could see the nervousness in his eyes. "So what can I do for you?" "You can stop screwing my wife." The words hung in the air between us like a challenge. Travis's fake smile never wavered, but his knuckles went white where he gripped the arms of his chair. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do. Marina Thompson, interior designer, green eyes, expensive taste in hotels. Ring any bells? Eli, I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding. I pulled out one of the photos Sam had given me and slid it across his desk. It showed Travis and Marina in a passionate embrace outside the Marriott, her hand on his chest, his lips on her neck. Misunderstanding? Really? Travis stared at the photo, his facade finally cracking. Look, Eli, I know how this must look. It looks like you've been fucking my wife for 6 months while pretending to be my friend at community events. It's not like that. Marina and I, we have a real connection. We're in love. The word love, coming from his mouth, made me want to laugh. Love? Is that what you call it when you destroy someone's family for your own entertainment? I never meant for anyone to get hurt. But you did it anyway. Travis leaned forward, his salesman instincts kicking in. Eli, I understand you're upset, but Marina was unhappy long before I came along. I didn't steal her from you. She was already gone. Maybe, but you helped her leave. Sometimes people grow apart. Sometimes marriages end. It's not anyone's fault. I stood up and walked to his wall of awards, studying them with interest. Realtor of the Year, 2019. Community Service Award, 2020. Outstanding Achievement in Residential Sales, 2021. Impressive resume, Travis. Thank you. Must have taken years to build this reputation. All that networking, all those relationships, all that trust. I turned back to him, smiling. Be a shame if something happened to it. Travis's face went pale. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone and showed him a video file. This is security footage from the Marriott parking garage. You and Marina 3 weeks ago. Very passionate. Very married to someone else. You can't. I can. I will. By tomorrow morning, this video will be on every social media platform in the county, along with the photos, the financial records showing your business relationship with Marina's firm, and a detailed timeline of your affair. Travis shot to his feet. That's blackmail. No, that's consequences. You thought you could take my wife, destroy my family, and just walk away without paying a price? You were wrong. Eli, please, think about what you're doing. This will hurt Marina too. Marina made her choice. She chose you over me, over our family, over 18 years of marriage. Now she gets to live with that choice publicly. Travis ran his hands through his perfectly styled hair, finally understanding the situation he was in. What do you want? Money? I can pay you. I don't want your money, Travis. I want your reputation. I want your career. I want your future. Just like you wanted my wife. This is insane. You can't destroy my entire life over a relationship that was going to happen anyway. Watch me. I walked toward the door, then stopped. Oh, and Travis? You might want to call Marina. Let her know that her new life is about to get very complicated. I left him standing in his office, staring at the photo of him and Marina, probably calculating how much his perfect life was about to cost him. My phone rang as I walked to my car. The caller ID showed Nina's number, Marina's best friend and biggest enabler. Hello, Nina. Eli, what the hell do you think you're doing? I'm having a productive afternoon. How are you? Marina is beside herself. She says you're trying to destroy her career. I'm not trying to do anything, Nina. I'm doing it. This is petty and vindictive and effective. Don't forget effective. Nina's voice rose to a shriek. You can't punish Marina for being honest about her feelings. Honest? Nina, she's been lying to me for 6 months. She's been stealing from her company to benefit her lover. She's been using our daughter as a weapon against me. Exactly which part of that strikes you as honest? She was trying to spare your feelings by humiliating me in public, by making me the town joke, by turning my own daughter against me. Christ, Nina, even you can't be that stupid. You're being cruel, Eli. I'm being fair. Marina wanted her freedom, her new life, her chance to explore her feelings. Now she gets to do all of that in the spotlight, with everyone watching. Isn't that what she always wanted? To be the center of attention? Nina was quiet for a moment. This isn't you, Eli. This isn't who you are. You're right. The old Eli would have quietly accepted his fate, signed the divorce papers, and faded into the background while Marina and Travis lived happily ever after. But the old Eli is dead, Nina. Marina killed him last night at dinner. What are you going to do? I smiled, feeling that cold purpose spread through my chest like ice water. I'm going to give this town something to talk about, starting with tomorrow's block party. Eli, don't... I hung up and drove home, already planning my next move. The annual community block party was tomorrow, the biggest social event of the year, where everyone who mattered would be gathered in one place. It was the perfect venue for Marina and Travis's public debut as the town's newest power couple. It was also the perfect venue for their destruction. Back at the house, I went down to my workshop in the basement, the one place Marina had never tried to redecorate. Here, surrounded by my tools and projects, I could think clearly. I pulled out a laptop and began composing emails to the local newspaper, the community Facebook groups, and several prominent citizens who loved gossip almost as much as they loved moral outrage. Each email contained carefully selected photos, documents, and a detailed explanation of Marina and Travis's affair, complete with financial implications and ethical violations. But I didn't send them. Not yet. Tomorrow, at the block party, Marina and Travis would make their public debut. They'd walk hand in hand through the crowd, accepting congratulations on their new relationship, basking in the attention and approval they'd been craving. And then, at the moment of their greatest triumph, I'd push send. The emails would go out simultaneously to hundreds of people, all of whom would be at the party, all of whom would receive the information at the same time. The shock, the whispers, the public humiliation, it would all happen in real time, in front of everyone who mattered. Marina wanted drama. She was about to get more than she'd bargained for. My phone buzzed with a text from Jess. Dad, please don't do anything stupid. Mom made a mistake, but destroying her won't fix anything. I stared at the message for a long time, my daughter choosing her mother's side even now, even after everything. The betrayal should have hurt more, but instead it just strengthened my resolve. I typed back, "Don't worry, kiddo. I'm not going to destroy your mother. I'm going to let her destroy herself." Tomorrow couldn't come fast enough. The morning of the block party dawned bright and clear, the kind of perfect September day that made our little town look like a postcard. I stood at my bedroom window, watching neighbors set up booths and hang decorations in the town square, and felt absolutely nothing. That was new. For months, I'd been drowning in emotion, rage, pain, betrayal, desperate love for a woman who'd already left me. Now, watching the bustling preparation for what would become Marina and Travis's public execution, I felt only a cold, calculating satisfaction. I'd become someone new overnight, someone dangerous. My phone had been buzzing all morning with increasingly frantic calls from Marina, Travis, Nina, even Richard from the design firm. I ignored them all. They could panic and scheme and try to prepare for what was coming, but they had no idea of the scope of what I'd planned. At 10 a.m., I walked downtown to check the setup. The block party was our town's biggest annual event. Local businesses set up booths, families brought picnic blankets, and everyone who mattered showed up to see and be seen. There would be a stage for speeches and announcements, which the mayor traditionally used to recognize outstanding citizens and local achievements. This year, I'd arranged for a different kind of recognition. Sam met me near the coffee booth, looking nervous. "You sure about this, Eli? Once you pull this trigger, there's no going back." There was no going back the moment Marina decided to humiliate me in that restaurant. This is going to hurt a lot of people. Good. Maybe next time they'll think twice before destroying someone's family for entertainment. Sam studied my face, and I could see him recognizing that the man he'd known for 15 years was gone. "What happened to you, brother?" I got educated. I learned that being a good man, playing by the rules, and treating people with respect gets you exactly nothing. I learned that in this world, you're either the predator or the prey. And which one are you now? I smiled, and Sam actually flinched. Guess we're about to find out. The party officially started at noon, but people had been arriving since 11, spreading blankets and claiming prime spots near the stage. I positioned myself at a picnic table with a clear view of the entrance, laptop open, finger hovering over the send button for emails that would destroy 3 lives. At 12:15, they arrived. Marina looked stunning in a sundress I'd never seen before, probably bought for this occasion, this public debut of her new life. Her hair was perfect, her makeup flawless, and she carried herself with the confidence of a woman who believed she'd won. Travis walked beside her, his hand on the small of her back in a gesture of possession that made my jaw clench. He wore casual clothes that probably cost more than most people's monthly salary, and his smile was the satisfied smirk of a man who'd taken another man's wife and gotten away with it. They moved through the crowd like celebrities, accepting congratulations and well wishes from people who'd known Marina and me as a couple for 18 years. The casual betrayal of it, friends and neighbors so easily accepting the destruction of my marriage, added fuel to the fire burning in my chest. Nina flanked them like a bodyguard, her eyes scanning the crowd until they found me. When our gazes met, she whispered something to Marina, who turned and looked directly at me for the first time since leaving our house 2 days ago. Even from across the square, I could see the fear in her eyes. She knew I had the power to destroy her new life, but she had no idea how complete that destruction would be. I raised my coffee cup in a mock toast, and Marina's face went pale. "Ladies and gentlemen," the mayor's voice boomed from the stage, "welcome to our annual community block party." The crowd applauded, and I used the noise to cover my movement toward the stage. I had arranged this weeks ago, back when I was still trying to save my marriage, a surprise anniversary tribute to Marina and me, celebrating 18 years together. The mayor had been delighted to include it in the program. Of course, the content of my speech had changed considerably since then. "Before we begin our festivities," the mayor continued, "I'd like to invite Eli Thompson to the stage for a special presentation." Marina's head snapped toward the stage, her face a mask of horror. She started pushing through the crowd toward me, but it was too late. I was already climbing the steps, laptop in hand. "Thank you, Mayor Davidson," I said, accepting the microphone. "I appreciate the opportunity to address our community on this beautiful day." The crowd settled into expectant silence. Many of them knew about Marina and Travis by now. Gossip traveled fast in the small town. But they had no idea what was coming. 2 days ago, my wife of 18 years informed me that she'd been having an affair for the past 6 months. She told me she was leaving me for another man, a man many of you know and respect. A murmur ran through the crowd. Marina had stopped trying to reach the stage and stood frozen in the middle of the square, Travis beside her, both of them trapped by the press of bodies around them. Now, I could have handled this privately. I could have quietly signed divorce papers and faded into the background while they lived happily ever after. But that wouldn't have been fair to all of you, the people who have supported them, done business with them, trusted them. I opened my laptop and connected it to the sound system. You see, Marina and Travis's relationship isn't just about adultery. It's about fraud, corruption, and the abuse of professional trust. The first image appeared on the large screen behind me. Marina and Travis entering the Marriott Hotel. The crowd gasped, and I heard someone shout, "Jesus Christ!" This photo was taken 3 weeks ago. Marina paid for the room with her company credit card, billing it as a business meeting with a client. That client was Travis Mitchell, who just happened to be steering real estate deals to Marina's firm. More photos flashed on the screen. Marina and Travis in passionate embraces, entering and leaving hotels, sharing intimate dinners while I sat at home wondering why my wife was working so many late nights. "But it gets better," I continued, my voice carrying clearly across the stunned crowd. "Marina has been using her position at Hoffman Design to provide Travis with inside information about competing bids, adjusting designs to favor his properties, and manipulating project timelines to benefit his deals." Financial documents appeared on the screen. Bank records, credit card statements, email exchanges that painted a clear picture of professional corruption, intertwined with personal betrayal. Marina was crying now, her perfect makeup running down her cheeks as hundreds of people stared at the evidence of her infidelity and fraud. Travis looked like he was going to be sick, his golden boy image crumbling in real time. "I want you all to understand," I said, my voice growing stronger. "This isn't just about a marriage ending. This is about two people who thought they were above consequences, who believed they could destroy a family and defraud their clients without anyone holding them accountable." The crowd was completely silent now, hanging on every word. Some people were recording with their phones. Within hours, this would be all over social media. "Marina Thompson and Travis Mitchell stole from you. They stole your trust, your respect, your business. They built their relationship on lies and corruption, and they did it all while pretending to be upstanding members of this community." I clicked to the final slide, a timeline showing the progression of their affair alongside suspicious business dealings, financial irregularities, and ethical violations. So when you see them walking hand in hand through town, when they ask for your business or your friendship or your respect, Remember what you've learned here today. Remember that they're the kind of people who will destroy anything and anyone to get what they want. I set the microphone down and walked off the stage, leaving Marina and Travis standing in the middle of a crowd that was now looking at them with disgust and betrayal instead of admiration. The silence stretched for what felt like an eternity. Then, someone in the crowd, I think it was Mrs. Henderson, whose property had been part of one of Travis's questionable deals, started to clap. Slowly, others joined in, until the entire square was applauding my public destruction of my wife and her lover. Marina pushed through the crowd toward me, tears streaming down her face. "Eli, how could you do this? How could you be so cruel?" Cruel? I looked at her with genuine amazement. "Marina, you destroyed our marriage, turned our daughter against me, stole from your employer, and humiliated me in front of the entire town. And you think I'm being cruel? This will ruin me. This will ruin everything I've worked for." Good. Maybe next time you'll think before you decide to blow up someone's life for your own entertainment. Travis appeared at Marina's side, his face red with rage. "You son of a bitch, you can't do this to us." "I just did. I'll sue you for defamation, for harassment, for telling the truth. Good luck with that, Travis. Every single thing I said up there is documented, verified, and completely accurate. You've destroyed my business, my reputation. No, you destroyed your business and reputation when you decided to fuck my wife and defraud your clients. I just made sure everyone knew about it." Travis lunged at me, but Sam appeared out of nowhere and grabbed his arm. "I wouldn't do that if I were you, pretty boy." Not in front of all these witnesses. The crowd was starting to disperse, but not before everyone had gotten a good look at Marina and Travis in their moment of complete humiliation. People were already pulling out their phones, sharing photos and videos of the presentation. By tonight, everyone in the county would know their story. Nina pushed through the crowd toward us, her face twisted with rage. "You bastard! You absolute bastard! How dare you destroy Marina like this?" "I didn't destroy Marina, Nina. Marina destroyed herself. I just made sure everyone could see it. This is revenge, pure and simple. You're a pathetic little man who can't handle being rejected." I looked at Nina, this woman who'd spent years poisoning my wife against me, who'd enabled and encouraged the affair, who'd helped plan the destruction of my family, and felt that cold. Satisfaction spread through my chest again. "You know what, Nina? You're absolutely right. This is revenge, and it's beautiful." Marina grabbed my arm. "Eli, please, we can fix this. We can work something out. I'll leave Travis, I'll come home, we can try again." I looked down at her hand on my arm, the same hand that had caressed another man, signed hotel receipts for their trysts, typed emails betraying her client's trust. "Marina, 2 days ago I would have given anything to hear you say those words. I would have forgiven you, taken you back, pretended none of this ever happened." "Then do it now. It's not too late." I gently removed her hand from my arm. "Yes, it is. You made your choice, Marina. You chose Travis over me, excitement over stability, your career over our family. Now you get to live with that choice. But I made a mistake. No, you made a series of calculated decisions over 6 months. You decided I wasn't good enough for you. You decided our marriage was expendable. You decided to steal from your employer and defraud your clients. Those weren't mistakes, Marina. Those were choices." Travis stepped forward again, his salesman instincts finally kicking in. "Eli, let's be reasonable here. We're all adults. We can work this out privately." "Privately? Like you worked out your relationship with my wife privately? Like you privately decided to destroy my family? No, Travis. You wanted a public relationship with Marina. You've got one. You just didn't expect it to come with public consequences." "This isn't over," Travis snarled. "You're right. It's not." I smiled at him, and he actually took a step backward. "This is just the beginning. By tomorrow, the state licensing board will have copies of all your financial records. The IRS will be very interested in your tax returns, and every client you've ever screwed over will finally have the evidence they need to sue you. You can't. I can. I will, and there's nothing you can do to stop me." I walked away from them, leaving Marina crying in Travis's arms, while Nina shouted threats at my back. The crowd parted as I moved through them, and I could see the mixture of shock, admiration, and fear in their faces. They'd never seen anything like what I'd just done. In their world, betrayed husbands were supposed to suffer in silence, sign divorce papers quietly, and disappear gracefully. They weren't supposed to fight back with such devastating effectiveness. I'd changed the rules, and everyone knew it. Sam caught up with me at the edge of the square. Jesus, Eli. That was intense. That was justice. What happens now? I looked back at the crowd, at Marina and Travis still standing in the wreckage of their public humiliation, at the people recording everything with their phones. Now they get to live with the consequences of their choices. Marina wanted excitement and drama. She's got it. Travis wanted to be the center of attention. Mission accomplished. And you? What do you want now? I thought about that question as we walked toward Sam's bar. What did I want? For months I'd wanted my wife back, my family restored, my life returned to normal. But that man, the man who'd wanted those things, was gone. I want to watch them burn, I said finally. I want to see them lose everything they thought they'd won. I want them to understand that there's a price for destroying someone's life. And after that, I'll build something new, something better, something that can't be taken away by people who think I'm too weak to fight back. We reached Sam's bar, and I ordered a whiskey, something I hadn't done in years. Marina had always disapproved of hard liquor, said it was beneath us. But Marina's opinions didn't matter anymore. To new beginnings, Sam said, raising his glass. To consequences, I corrected. And we drank to the destruction of my old life and the birth of something infinitely more dangerous. Outside, I could hear the distant sound of the block party continuing. But it would never be the same. Today had changed everything. For Marina, for Travis, for me, and for everyone who'd witnessed the public execution of two people who'd thought they were untouchable. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. The block party presentation had gone viral overnight. Someone had live-streamed the entire thing, and it was now trending on social media with hashtags like #BlockPartyRevenge and #CheatingWifeExposed. I scrolled through the messages while drinking coffee in my quiet kitchen. Most were from people I barely knew, offering support or asking for details. A few were from Marina's friends, calling me everything from vindictive to psychotic. But the one that caught my attention was from Jess. Dad, what have you done? Mom is in the hospital. She had a panic attack after seeing the video online. Everyone at school is talking about it. I can't even show my face. You've ruined everything. I stared at the message for a long time, waiting to feel something. Guilt, regret, concern for Marina's well-being. Nothing came. The man who would have rushed to the hospital to comfort his estranged wife was gone, replaced by someone who saw her panic attack as just another consequence of her choices. I texted back, "Your mother made her bed. Now she gets to lie in it." Jess's response came immediately. "I hate you. Join the club, kiddo. It's getting pretty crowded." My phone rang. Sam calling from the bar. "Eli, you need to get down here. There's something you need to see." "What kind of something?" "The kind that means your little presentation yesterday was even more effective than you thought." I drove downtown, noting how people stared at me as I passed, some with admiration, some with fear, all with a new kind of respect. I'd become famous overnight, the man who'd fought back against betrayal and won. Sam's bar was busier than usual for a Monday morning, filled with people discussing the previous day's events. Conversation stopped when I walked in, and I felt the weight of their attention like a physical force. "Back here," Sam said, leading me to his office. "You're going to want to see this privately." He handed me a tablet showing a local news website. The headline read, "Real estate agent under investigation following affair scandal." I scanned the article, feeling that cold satisfaction spread through my chest again. The state licensing board had indeed opened an investigation into Travis's business practices. 3 former clients had come forward with complaints about suspicious deals. His real estate license had been suspended pending the outcome of the investigation. "It gets better," Sam said, scrolling to another article. Hoffman Design fired Marina this morning, officially for violations of company policy and professional ethics. Unofficially, because Richard's terrified of the scandal destroying his business. I set down the tablet and leaned back in my chair. In less than 24 hours, both Marina and Travis had lost their careers, their reputations, and their futures. The speed of their destruction was almost artistic. "There's more," Sam continued. Nina's husband filed for divorce this morning. Apparently, your little presentation inspired him to do some investigating of his own. Turns out Nina's been having her own affair for the past year. The irony was delicious. Nina, the woman who'd enabled and encouraged Marina's betrayal, was now facing her own public humiliation. The web of lies and adultery was unraveling faster than I'd ever imagined. "How do you feel about all this?" Sam asked. Satisfied. Complete. Like I finally got the justice I was owed. "And Marina?" "Jess says she's in the hospital." I shrugged. Marina's always been dramatic. A panic attack seems like an appropriate response to having your entire life exposed as a fraud. Sam studied my face with concern. "Eli, I've known you for 15 years. This isn't who you used to be." "The man I used to be was weak. He let people walk all over him, destroy his family, humiliate him publicly. That man is dead, Sam. Good riddance." "But what about forgiveness? What about mercy? What about consequences? What about accountability?" Marina and Travis thought they could destroy my life without paying a price. They were wrong. My phone buzzed with a call from Richard Hoffman. I answered, putting it on speaker so Sam could hear. "Eli, we need to talk." "Hello, Richard. I assume you're calling about Marina's termination?" "Among other things, this scandal is destroying my business. I've lost 3 major clients since yesterday, and the phone won't stop ringing with reporters asking for comments. That sounds like a Marina and Travis problem, not an Eli problem. You orchestrated this whole thing. You could make it go away." I laughed. "Make it go away? Richard, I didn't force Marina to sleep with Travis. I didn't force them to defraud your clients. I didn't force them to build their relationship on lies and corruption. I just made sure everyone knew about it. If you don't help me contain this, I'll sue you for tortious interference with business relationships. Go ahead. Every piece of evidence I presented yesterday is documented and verifiable. Good luck convincing a jury that I'm the villain for exposing fraud and adultery." "Eli, please. I'll pay you, whatever you want. I don't want your money, Richard. I want justice. Marina and Travis destroyed my life for their own entertainment. Now they get to experience what that feels like." I hung up and looked at Sam, who was staring at me with something between admiration and horror. "You really are a different person now." "Yes, I am, and I like this version better. What's your endgame here, Eli? How far are you planning to take this?" I thought about that question as I watched the news coverage on Sam's TV. Marina and Travis's faces were plastered across every local channel. Their affair and business corruption the biggest story in years. "I want them to lose everything," I said finally. "Their careers, their reputations, their friends, their future together. I want them to understand that actions have consequences, that you can't destroy someone's life without paying a price. And then what? Then I'll build something new, something better, something that can't be taken away by people who think I'm too weak to fight back." My phone rang again. This time it was Travis. "You son of a bitch, you've destroyed me." "Hello, Travis. How's unemployment treating you?" "I'll sue you for everything you're worth. You'll what? Sue me for telling the truth? For exposing your fraud and adultery? Good luck with that. This isn't over, Eli. I'll find a way to make you pay for this." "Travis, you still don't get it. This isn't about you anymore. This is about consequences. You chose to destroy my family, so I chose to destroy your life. Fair trade." "Marina's in the hospital because of you." "Marina's in the hospital because she couldn't handle the consequences of her own choices. That's not my problem." "You're a monster." "No, Travis. I'm just a man who finally learned to fight back." I hung up and turned to Sam. "I need you to do something for me." "What?" "I need you to find out where Marina and Travis are staying. They can't go back to their old lives, so they must be hiding somewhere." "Eli, what are you planning?" "I'm planning to finish what I started." Sam looked uncomfortable. "Maybe you should let this go. You've already won. They've lost everything." "Not everything. They still have each other. They still have their love story. Their grand romance that was worth destroying my family. I think it's time to test how strong that love really is." "What do you mean?" I smiled, and Sam actually flinched. "I mean, it's time for Marina and Travis to discover that their relationship was built on lies from the very beginning." "I don't understand." You will. But first, I need to make a few phone calls. I left Sam's bar and drove to my workshop, where I could think clearly. The tools and wood shavings reminded me of who I used to be. A simple man who built things with his hands, who believed in honesty and hard work and playing by the rules. That man was gone, but his skills remained, and I was about to build the most devastating trap of my life. I pulled out my laptop and began researching Travis's background, looking for weaknesses, secrets, anything I could use to drive a wedge between him and Marina. What I found was even better than I'd hoped. Travis Mitchell wasn't just a cheating real estate agent. He was a serial cheater with a pattern of targeting married women, seducing them, using them for business advantages, and then discarding them when he got bored. Marina wasn't his first victim. She wasn't even his second or third. She was just the latest in a long line of women he'd manipulated and betrayed. And I had proof. Phone records showing calls to multiple women during his relationship with Marina. Hotel receipts showing meetings with other married clients. Even photos of him with other women, taken during the same time period he was supposedly building his great love story with my wife. Marina thought she was special. She thought Travis had chosen her because she was extraordinary, because their connection was unique and powerful. She had no idea she was just another conquest in his ongoing campaign of seduction and betrayal. But she was about to find out. I spent the next hour crafting the perfect message, a detailed timeline of Travis's other relationships, complete with photos, receipts, and contact information for his previous victims. I packaged it all in an email with the subject line, "The truth about your great love story." Then I sent it to Marina's personal email address, the one she checked obsessively on her phone. My phone rang 5 minutes later. Marina, sobbing hysterically. "Eli, please tell me this isn't real. Please tell me you made this up." "Every word is true, Marina. Every photo is authentic. Travis has been playing you from the beginning. But he loves me. He told me I was different, that what we had was special. He told all of them the same thing. You're not special, Marina. You're just another married woman he seduced for business advantages." "I don't believe you." "You're lying. You're trying to hurt me." "Call them, Marina. Call the other women. Ask them about their relationships with Travis. Ask them what he promised them, how he made them feel, what happened when he got bored." The line went quiet, except for her sobbing. "Marina, you destroyed our marriage for a man who was using you. You threw away 18 years, turned our daughter against me, humiliated me publicly, all for a man who never loved you at all. Stop. Please stop. You wanted the truth, Marina. You wanted honesty and authenticity and real love. Well, here it is. Travis Mitchell is a predator who saw you coming from a mile away. I can't handle this." "Then you should have thought about that before you decided to blow up our lives." I hung up and sat back in my chair, feeling a satisfaction so complete, it was almost spiritual. Marina's great love story, her grand romance, her justification for destroying our family, it was all a lie. And now she knew it. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This is Travis. We need to talk. Meet me at the old warehouse on Elm Street in 1 hour. Come alone." I stared at the message, recognizing it for what it was, a trap. Travis was desperate, cornered, probably planning some kind of physical confrontation. The old warehouse was isolated, abandoned, the perfect place for violence. I texted back, "I'll be there." Then I called Sam. "I need backup, and bring your friends from the gym. What's happening?" "Travis wants to meet. He's probably planning to do something stupid." "Eli, maybe you should just stay away. You've already won." "No, Sam. This is the final act. After tonight, it's over." I drove to the warehouse, noting the isolated location and multiple escape routes. Travis's Tesla was already there, parked in the shadows. I could see him pacing back and forth inside the building, silhouetted against the broken windows. Sam arrived with 3 other guys from the boxing gym. Serious men who understood that sometimes violence was the only language bullies understood. "Stay back unless I need you," I told them. "This is between Travis and me." I walked into the warehouse alone, my footsteps echoing in the empty space. Travis stood in the center of the room, his perfect hair disheveled, his expensive clothes wrinkled. He looked like a man who'd lost everything. "You destroyed me," he said without preamble. "You destroyed yourself." I just made sure everyone could see it. My business is gone. My reputation is ruined. Even Marina won't talk to me now. Shocking. It's almost like she discovered you were using her. Travis's face twisted with rage. You think you're so smart, don't you? You think you've won? I know I've won. Well, here's something you don't know, Eli. Marina was never the only one. While I was your wife, I was also your daughter. The words hit me like a physical blow. What? That's right. Sweet little Jess. She's not as innocent as you think. She's been sneaking out to meet me for months. Daddy's little girl, giving herself to the man who was stealing her mother. Rage exploded through my chest, hot and violent and overwhelming. I lunged at Travis, but he was ready for me. We crashed to the ground, rolling across the dirty concrete, throwing wild punches. But I was stronger, angrier, and I'd been preparing for this moment for days. I pinned Travis beneath me, my hands around his throat. You're lying, I snarled. Check her phone, Travis gasped. Check her browser history. Check the hotel receipts. I've been fucking your whole family, Eli. I squeezed harder, watching his face turn red. This was it, the moment I'd been building toward. The moment I finally got complete revenge for everything he'd taken from me. Then I heard Sam's voice behind me. Eli, don't. He's not worth it. I looked down at Travis, seeing the fear in his eyes, the knowledge that he was about to die. And I realized something important. Killing him would make him the victim and me the villain. It would undo everything I'd accomplished. I released his throat and stood up, leaving him gasping on the concrete. You know what, Travis? You're not worth spending my life in prison. You're not worth anything at all. I walked toward the door, then stopped. Oh, and Travis? I recorded everything you just said, including your confession about Jess. I'm sure the police will be very interested in hearing about a 32-year-old man's relationship with an 18-year-old girl. Travis's face went white. You can't. I can. I will. And there's nothing you can do to stop me. I walked out of the warehouse, leaving Travis broken and defeated on the floor. Outside, Sam and the others were waiting. Is it over? Sam asked. I looked back at the warehouse, then at the city lights in the distance. Somewhere out there, Marina was discovering that her great love story was a lie. Jess was about to learn that her hero was a predator. Nina was facing her own public humiliation. Yes, I said, it's over. But even as I said the words, I knew they weren't true. This wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. I'd discovered something about myself in the past few days. Something dark and powerful and utterly ruthless. I'd learned that I was very, very good at revenge. And I was just getting started.